Morning! I don't know if you can hear Maxie whining or not, but I decided to keep with the cozy drink for this week because it's cold. Maxie, would you like to see the people? No, he just wants to whine. So good morning. I hope you are having an amazing day. See how pretty it is outside, even though it is super, super cold. And I kind of like to do a live in my pajamas enough to do it again. So if you would like this to stop, and you're a regular regular watcher, you can tell me. If you're just popping by to say, don't be in your jammies, I'm not going to listen to you. So tell me how the weather is where you guys are. What's going on? How's your day? Did you enjoy like 80 bazillion ultimate vegan health and weight loss bundle videos yesterday? I did 4, just me 4. And I think with all the other contributors, there were dozens and dozens. So one of the things I said in an Instagram interview that you guys may not have seen, and also the bundle is for sale only till February 12th, which is 8 days from today. It's not tomorrow, but the Sunday after that. My link is down below. If you haven't gotten it yet, it's $49, over 110 things. It's worth thousands of dollars, blah, blah, blah. If you have questions, let me know. I think you should buy it. I think it's awesome. But one of the things I did say too is if you are on a budget, so food is more expensive right now anyhow. If you're on a budget, if you're really kind of crunching down, enjoy this week of meeting all these cool plant-based people, get into their communities. That's something you can do for free, right? So wherever you are, if you're in a place that you can afford $49 to get a whole lot of vegan recipes, information from plant-based doctors, do it. If you are not, secret ninja tip, go ahead and watch all the videos, get so much information, learn about new people, and just really soak up all that community. Okay, so we've got Gina is said it's the same in Detroit, sunny and freezing. I think you guys have it way worse than we do. I don't know what the temperature is. Let's find out. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now,
it's 31 degrees Fahrenheit. But it is getting up to 40. And I think you guys up north are having crazy weather. So I'm not complaining as much as I'm glad I have a really cozy, snuggy thing that is completely unflattering, but is deliciously comfortable. Oh, thank you. Marilyn says, I look cozy in my jammies. I am. Max and I had the fire going, and he's just a whiny little boy today. That's how things go. Ooh, Cindy says it's 20 degrees in Michigan. Yikes. And Linda, I am just scared to know how cold it is up in Canada where you are. And CJ's in Edinburgh. And Gina says it's 30 degrees, a heat wave from yesterday. I know, it's crazy, right? And Marilyn says she's excited about the bundle. We were close to freezing. So if you have questions about the bundle, if you have questions about plant milk and plant milk makers, I thought one of the things I do sometimes is I'll go ahead and make us a warm drink in these small milk makers. So yesterday, if you didn't see, I made a pecan maple latte in the Nutter. And the Arcmira, I'm gonna make a plant-based London fog. So I was looking today to see if I could do it in the Miomat, but the Miomat warm cycle is 20 minutes. That is too long to brew tea. For me, the perfect cup of tea is at 4 minutes, but I will take 5. Thank you very much. It will work just fine. And I realized too, I did not bring a, oh, I've got a mug right here. Ha ha. My goal is not to show you the socks that don't match this. So there's a happy little mug. So that's why we're using a small milk maker. You could still do something with coffee and make a big pot of lattes if you're using the Mia-Mat or the Soy Joya or the Soy Bella. With the almond cow, you'd have to heat it up. So I'm kind of talking about a lot of things, and I've got a post on Healthy Slow Cooking on plant-based milk makers, because everyone keeps telling me which one would I buy again? But that's not necessarily the right one for you. So these small ones are for making 1.5 to 2 cups at a time. That's it. So if you are a family of 4 to 6, it's probably not for you unless you just make some stuff just for yourself. Most of the ones that we've talked about so far are about the same, anywhere between $100 and $200. Okay? And let's go and see, blah, blah. Linda says she was watching the news this morning in Mount Washington. It was, what? Minus 103 Fahrenheit yesterday with the wind chill. Oh my God, I can't even understand those numbers. Oh yay, Mary Jean is here from Washington. And thinking about a type of milk maker that's not expensive. Yesterday, at least, the Arcmira was still on sale for $99. Another thing we can always do, and I can start making this and tell you more about this because it's going to be 5 minutes of it going, and I can move away and try and talk to you this time, is to go, I've told you this before, so if you go on your computer, not on your phone, to Amazon.com, there's a little drop down where you can say books, kitchen, blah, blah, blah. There's Amazon Warehouse is an option. And oftentimes, look up milk maker. You can find returns, and when you click on it, it'll tell you things like acceptable, excellent, like new. And usually it'll say things like dent in box. There was one I was looking at, it says looks used. I've never seen that before, so for me that was a warning sign that perhaps no one cleaned it after they used it and returned it. So you want to look at some things like that. Oftentimes you can get things up to 50% off that way. So let's see. And Linda has an almond cow. It makes good plant milk and uses the pulp. All of these so far make good plant milks, and it's more of like the questions you want to ask yourself is how much milk do I want to make, or how often do I want to make milk? Am I okay with filtering it, or do I want the machine to filter it for me? Do I need heat in the machine? Almond cow doesn't have heat, Mia-Mat does. They both grind great. Okay, I don't know what that is, but we can deal with that. Okay, Crafty Dragon knits. Oh my gosh. Do you knit things that have dragons on them? Because if so, I may need to find your site. Because that sounds lovely. It's in Montreal where it's minus 15, minus 40 with the wind chill. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is just crazy. So let me start making this, and then I'll talk a little more about milk makers and things like that. I wanted to talk about what a London fog is. So a London fog is typically Earl Grey tea, and I like to use a good Earl Grey tea. So I am not always snooty about things. Oh, you can't see that very well. Let's see. There, you can sort of see. Sorry, I know it's dark in there. There we go. And see how it's a nice and a longer leaf? Taylor's is one of my favorites. This I got, and it has coneflower in it. And I got this from a place called Gallivant in Asheville, which is a vegan coffee shop that is just lovely. So I bought one of those. And then this I'm making this for Cheryl. But I wanted you to know, this is a big bag of tea. It's a pound of tea. I got it on Amazon. Davidson's Organics does a really nice tea. This one is Earl Grey and lavender. And if you hate lavender, this is not the tea for you. And you can see some lavender buds in there. Oops, I didn't grab it. There's a little teeny tiny lavender bud there. Right there. And it smells like magic. All of these smell like magic. So could you use the Earl Grey tea bag that you took from your hotel room when you were traveling? Yes, you can. I would open it up and then put it in here because these machines chop it up. This is not the traditional how to make a perfect cup of tea. But these teas, like, and Taylor's tea, if you buy it in a tin, it's expensive, but I got a pound of it, much cheaper on Amazon as well. So Earl Grey tea is a black tea that has bergamot in it. And bergamot's like this little orange, but it smells very floral. So think of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of how to explain it because it's not exactly like orange flower, but it has some floral, it has a little bit of brightness of citricity. I just made a word. So I hope you like it. Please use it again. And Crafty Dragon Knit says, I am a dragon who knits. That may be even more intriguing to me personally. That is awesome. And Marilyn says, I love Davidson's Earl Grey tea. I have to use decaf. Yes, and for a couple of years, I couldn't have caffeine. The pandemic like messed with my anxiety a little bit. Or I guess the pandemic gave me anxiety. So there was like no caffeine in my life for 2 years. And I'm so excited that I can do it. So Davidson's, you can get decaf or regular. Here's another thing. They have rooibos teas that often are Earl Grey rooibos. And rooibos is like honeybush. It's like African honeybush. So there's no caffeine. It's an herbal tea. But it will have some of those flavors from the Earl Grey. And the Earl Grey kind of bergamot flavor goes really well with some vanilla. You could use vanilla extract. You could use vanilla powder. I'm going to use a little maple syrup. You can sweeten this with dates, date syrup, vegan sugar. You could make this like a coffee shop and use vegan vanilla syrup like they do in the coffee shops, like a Torani or something like that. They have some natural ones now. It's all up to you. Okay, so that kind of gives you the lay of the land of London fog. And Marilyn, do you do London fogs at all? There's something about it I just really love. So I'm going to take this Arcmira, since we used the Nutter yesterday. And let me see if I turn on this light. It made it kind of too bright in the front, but I think this will help you see in there more. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of grounds. You could use a little bit less. I like my tea a little bit strong. And that is okay for me. It may not be okay for you. We could make this with anything we wanted. So basically we're making the milk and the tea and all the flavors at the same time. We could use some oats, and the heat will thicken up the oats a little bit. So I'm going to do an oat cashew blend. If you wanted to have less straining, you could use cashews, but we've got to strain the tea leaves out anyhow. So I'm going to put, and we want to make it like a creamer. You could make that cashew, no cashew left behind is what I say. Okay, so I'm going to put about 1.5 tablespoons of cashews, and I got these on super sale, which is why I'm using whole cashews. I recommend highly using cashew pieces, and then I'm going to put about a tablespoon of oats in here. Since we're drinking this all right now, it's okay that it warms up and gets quote-unquote slimy. Because it's not really going to be slimy this way. It's a little different. I'm going to put probably about a couple of teaspoons of maple syrup in there. And I'll say a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And you can change this. We could also make this and put the vanilla in after. We could put the sweetener in after if you wanted to. Now, just like the Nutter did yesterday, see there's a min and a max. So we don't want to go over the max, and we're just going to pour some water in there. Oop. Does anybody else have trouble pouring things out of spouts? Okay, now this doesn't have the super cool little transparency, but you know what happened from yesterday. So I'm going to take its little cord and plug that in. Okay, and then I'll show you if I can arrange my things better. You'd think I'd have this all together, so let me let you see the front of this so you can get an idea. And I know it's a little hard to see. It doesn't like go on like that, but I'm going to hit this and see that's the menu. It's just like the Nutter. It goes through one. Room temp and warm. We want to be on warm. And it says that's going to be 5 minutes. And it's going to go ahead and start if I don't click anything at all. Okay, so I'm going to try something different today. And you may be like, there's nothing happening. Well, actually, can you guys hear that it's trying to heat up? So it's heating up some, and I'm going to move it away and see if I get less muffled. Marilyn or CJ, you guys let me know. I know it's also more muffled because this is fleece, so my microphone is like on its own little blanket today. And with these milk makers, if you didn't see it yesterday, what happens is they blend and then they stop. And then they blend and then they stop. And then they blend and then they stop. And that's all of them. That's the little ones and the big ones as well. Can you replicate that in your blender? What do you think? Blend it and then wait a minute. Blend it and then wait a minute. If you're making, and I'm going to step away, well, I think this, move that away a little bit. So, you guys are so cute. Facebook user says, I love London Fog. I love you, Facebook user. I'm sorry I don't know your name because it doesn't show me. Ooh, Marilyn, that's a good tip. Search for Davidson coupons online. I found 40% off. I do recommend going ahead, if you know you like the tea, get a pound of it. It's quite less expensive. And if you keep it sealed, it's going to last for a year or two easy. And their seals actually stay sealed, which is another thing. Also, if you have any tins, you can put some in. So this is actually from a big bag that I just keep filling up this tin to have out and about. And Mary Jean says, spouts are there to frustrate us. Yes, they are sometimes, aren't they? And some are better than others, and I don't understand that. It seems like they have a whole team, right? You would think that they fix that. Or sometimes I pour too close instead of pouring far away. All right. Rill says they want to make sure a milk maker has buttons on it I can press. I'm blind and I'm doing things by touch. Suggestions. The almond cow is great. There's one button. And here, let me grab that really quick and I'll show you because I have, I think that, and then I'm getting a couple of other ones as well. So I don't know if a small one will be good for you. These could be a little dusty, so apologies. So the almond cow, and it just has this one button. It looks like an almond with cow ears. And that's what you press and it does the cycle. That is it. Now on my Soy Bella, this is an older one. I have milk, mill, and pause, paste, and off. I am getting a NutriMilk sent to me. And so I'm wondering if that might be a good option, but I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. Almost all these small ones have these more oval digital screens that even sighted people have trouble with. So I don't think I would recommend it for you. I think I would recommend the Almond Cow. What the Almond Cow, so the Almond Cow has a filter too. So the only thing is you're gonna have to put the filter onto the blades, but I think, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to do that with no problem. And then you don't have to filter out your milk. It does not have heat, so while you can make soy milk in it, what you're really doing is grinding the soybeans, and then you will cook them on the stove or in the Instant Pot or something like that. Or if you wanted to do a drink like this, we could put all the ingredients in here, and instead of using room temperature water, we could use hot water from the kettle. And the other thing is it has this plastic cup, which I don't know about putting hot water in here. It's probably fine. And so you can make a small amount or not use the cup and make a larger amount. So I think Almond Cow is the one I would have you look into right now. Since you've told me that too, though, I'll keep an eye out and see if I see anything else that looks good. Sharon, could you use a Vitamix? Absolutely. Of course you can. Oh, wow, that was a fast 5 minutes, y'all. Okay, let me put some of these away. I'm going to just sit this one on the floor. All right. And I don't know if you heard the little beep, beep, beeps to let me know it was done. Max did. He's like, he doesn't like them very much. So let me put that camera back. Let's look overhead. Okay, and so when you take a lid off of these small ones, it gives you an E2 error. So that's what's going on. I just need to unplug it. Again, just like yesterday, see how foamy it gets just doing this. And CJ says it sounds a little quiet, but not muffled, so that's awesome. And I'm going to get back to the Vitamix, Sharon, but yes, the answer is yes. Lydia says good morning. And we'll get to some more. So let's look at this. But I love how fluffy it is. So this is a bar strainer. I like it because it just fits like that. Ooh. And see how it's catching the tea? Which sounds like I'm trying to say something super cool, like we're going to sit and have coffee and gossip. If you guys don't know, spilling the tea means you're talking about the truth or gossip. Oh. Here, let me let you guys see it one more time. Can we get on in there? Look how fluffy. I love how fluffy it is. And to me, this is way better than getting a Starbucks London Fog, and I'll tell you why. Because you're going to get this with this beautiful fluffy milk on top with a tea bag stuck in there that you have to pull out of the milk. It takes away your sweetener, your tea, and your milk. It's hot, and you've got to squeeze it. This takes very little effort. So just to give you a play-by-play, Fergus is here yelling at Max, who is thinking of going down the stairs 3 feet away from him, and Fergus is like, "You shall not pass." Fergus is the orange kitty that you guys met yesterday. All right, and there's still a little more in here. Actually, let me let you see, so you can see how the tea gets chopped up a little bit. But, well, you can't see the part that I'm trying to show you. It looks just like this, only at the bottom. So it doesn't like puree the tea. So if we did this, and let's talk about that for a minute. If we did this in the Vitamix, I would probably do it a little bit differently. And so let's talk about that. If I was I would make a vanilla maple creamer or vanilla creamer of your choice. But, and I also want you to see, well, okay. Rolling it back, people, rolling it back. Okay, so I wouldn't want the tea to get pureed because then it's not going to strain out. So I haven't done this particular drink in the Vitamix, which is why I probably would make a creamer. So you could use a couple of tablespoons of cashews, a couple tablespoons of oats, or maybe 3 tablespoons of oats and 1 tablespoon of cashews just to give it a little bit of extra oomph, or just oats. I have no judgments. Put your sweetener in, and you can put dates, soaked dates. I don't have medjool dates right now, and as soon as you open those Deglet Noir, no idea if I'm saying that right, they start to dry out a little bit. So for a smaller milk maker like any of these, you want them either soaked or you would chopped, because these motors aren't super, super powerful like a Vitamix would. Vitamix, I can throw that whole dry old date in there and it will eventually give up to the Vitamix. You will have to run the Vitamix for like 3 minutes to get it to heat up. So again, instead of making this exact concoction, I would make a creamer, store the creamer, and brew a pot of tea and add the creamer to my tea. And sometimes plant milks froth up better in these than they do with just the little frother. You can see it back over there. It's almost by my thumb. And it doesn't always froth up as well as this does, which is another reason why I kind of like making these coffee house drinks in my small milk makers. So hopefully that gave you a good lowdown. Susan is saying the NutriMilk weighs a lot, and I have not. It is also a $500 machine, or an almost $500 machine. Everything else that we're looking at is cheaper. And it's only her at home. It does also, I believe, make large batches. So what it does is it processes nuts or oats into a paste. So basically it makes really thin nut butter, kind of like the Joy, the J-O-I. And I'm very curious about this because I was asking Chef AJ, I was wondering if I can, because almond milk base just has almonds, which means it's just a really finely pasted almond, right? Like almond butter. But it's so fine that we don't really need to strain anything out. They could blanch their almonds. They could do all kinds of things that I don't know about. So I'm hoping we could do that. So you might be able to use the NutriMilk, and I will be telling you once I get one, to make a big batch of nut butter, put it aside, and then make smaller batches of milk from that. The NutriMilk does filter, so, but I think it makes like 2 half gallons at a time. I don't know if I can make less or not. Again, getting that machine will demo it for you. And Real says, I'm looking for a soy milk maker, so heat is necessary. Let me show you the top of, and I'll look again because this is an older soy Bella. Let me see if I can see which one it is. Does it say? It's the SB130. So I think it has a milk button, a mill button, and a paste off button. So that would be my next thing for you. And I don't think, this also has a little basket. It's just not in here right now. It is not as big a basket as the Almond Cow. The Soy Bella also is one of the cheaper milk makers. It is stainless steel inside, and I know you can get one of those off Amazon Warehouse. And those Amazon Warehouse deals are returnable for X amount of days. They usually say how much it is. It's usually 2 to 4 weeks. So if you got something and it was hinky, You could drop it off at Whole Foods. Here we have Ross's and so many places you can drop off the Amazon. So hopefully that helps, Rill. Oh, what is the name of that machine? I'm going to just assume right now that you were talking about the one that I made the milk in, and this is the Arcmira. And I think I have it down in the notes. I put the Arcmira, the Nutter, and the Meomat, just because I wasn't going to talk about these. And for me, I like the Almond Cow and the Meomat, but I feel like the Meomat can do more things for my personal, my personal lifestyle. So it's Arcmira, and at least yesterday it was still on sale for $99. They go between being on sale for $99 to as high as $159, I think. I think the Soy Bella, I think you can get one of those for $100 or under. The Almond Cow, I think, is like 200 and something, 215, 220. I can't remember. The Nutter is $169 to $189, and they have a 20% off sale right now. I feel like the Arcmira is just a tad bit quieter, and it's got just a little more room. I think it does just maybe a quarter cup more, not much. So hopefully, let's see. What vanilla do I use? I think this is, where did I get this? I got this at Costco. I'm making some of my own vanilla as well, but I needed some big bottles from doing the Ninja Creamy stuff because I was using a lot of vanilla. You can take some bourbon or vodka and put some vanilla beans in it and make your own. You can get vanilla beans at Costco as well. I'm trying to see, do I have the other vanilla over here? There's one I really like. Chef AJ likes to use a vanilla powder, and that would work perfectly too. Okay, and Gina says, you do need heat, but Kathy said you can make it and then take it to the stove to heat it. And I gotta say, and I know you people who have your Almond Cows love it and don't mind doing that. And again, this is why picking out a milk maker can be so personal. I don't want to do it because I don't, and that is all. So I would rather make soy milk in the Meomat, but and I'll bring it over. There are a lot of buttons, but I think you're still using that selection button. So that's not going to be so awesome if you're visually impaired. Let's see if we can show you this one too. So the Meomat has all of these. This is what the Soy Bella and the Almond Cow has its button. But this one does have actual push buttons, whereas again, this is like the others we did, and you press the select and it goes through all the settings. Okay. I need like a whole little cabinet of milk makers. Let's see if I can move this where it's not so in the way. All right. Trent says, if you're allergic to nuts, is soy and oats your only option? If you can do seeds, you can make flax milk, sunflower milk, pumpkin seed milk, hemp milk. I don't know why I can't think of any other seeds. I've never made chia milk. You can make oat milk. You can use rolled oats, steel cut oats, oat groats, but you have to do them a little different. We used rolled oats today because we just threw them in there and they were done. Oat groats you need to soak overnight. You can make millet milk. You can make rice milk. You can make different grains. So you'd have all those grains and seeds. Oh, and Linda was saying, could you use pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds? Yes, you can. I will say that personally, I don't love sunflower seed milk. And when I make a sunflower seed kind of puree to make like a goat cheese, it kind of has a goat cheese taste to me. So that could just be me and my taste buds though. Ooh, Marilyn has a tip. Bed Bath & Beyond carries the Soy Bella, which was this guy that I was recommending for real with the 3 buttons. And it has baskets. It had, at least mine had a basket for soy and a basket for rice. So a finer basket. And by basket, I mean like this that goes over the blades. It's not as big as this though. So actually it's Marilyn who was telling me she uses the Soy Joya, which I don't have. So Marilyn, if you could tell me, does the Soy Joya have buttons that you can push, or is it more of a touch screen like these others? Because you can add more soybeans to make tofu if you want to. Oh, CJ, could you use almond flour for milk making? I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. Here's my only concern is that sometimes almond flour is the product of making almond milk. So like if I made almond milk, I could dehydrate that pulp and turn it into almond flour, but it would be interesting to try. So I think we should definitely try that. Maybe we'll try that in the Vitamix because that seems like gives it a better chance to win since it's a pretty powerful motor. Linda says, I was looking at Amazon and the Soy Bella SB132 and it shows a heat button and a raw button. That's awesome. Okay, so because my Soy Bella is like 12 years old. So it may not look like that now, but if they're buttons, that's great. And the Arcmira is still on sale for $99 and has the $10 coupon so you can get for $89. So those of you who want a small milk maker, that's a great deal. Now I have had one person who wrote me on Facebook, said they got an Arcmira and there was a weird bolt sound, but I think they just had something wrong with it. They're in the process of returning it or exchanging it for another one, and I'll keep you updated on how that goes. I know Joanne got one. And when it comes to some of these machines, I can tell you what they look like and what happened for me, but there's always going to be the chance that you get a lemon. If you get a lemon, try and exchange it as soon as you can. This is my second nutter. The first nutter they sent me, I did die. But this one seems to be going a little bit better, and I feel pretty good about it. I feel like they've made a couple of improvements as well. And I know they're doing a Nutter 2.0. There was like an Indigo, which is like a Kickstarter, but that's the only place I can find any information about it. And they're changing the system to be less complicated, but I have no idea when that would come out. I think it was supposed to come out for the Indigo people who bought in first quarter, but it looks like it's second quarter, so I don't know if it's coming to Amazon at any given time. Oh, that's a good thing. Chef AJ has made banana milk. Yes, you could make banana milk. I've seen people make potato milk, but they also use almonds. But I bet you could do potatoes and oats. I haven't done that yet. Now, Facebook user says they can't find the Amazon warehouse. Let me come here and see if I can. I'm trying to get it up on mine. I'll see if I can share it with you. Okay, now let me come here. There you go. And you see me down here. Hello. So I'm at Amazon.com. You have to be on your computer and then see it's at the very top. There's Alexa skills, Amazon devices, Amazon pharmacy, Amazon warehouse. So I would click on there and then type in milk maker. And see, okay, so that's the one that I have. So that's the oldster. I guess. Let's see if we can see what buttons. Let's see if they've done something different. Can we see the buttons, please? Oh, it is hot and raw. Okay, so it is a little bit different. Did you guys see that? Where did I get that? There it is. Hot, raw, power. So I like that. So basically it's going to use heat, not use heat, and on off. That's actually a much better way to look at it, honestly, I think. So you can get it there for $89. There's one left in stock. And so let me go over here too. I'll show you this. So when you click over here, see how it says used great, and different free deliveries. Excellent. And then under here, Amazon will come in, item will come in original packaging. Packaging will be damaged. Here we go. Small cosmetic imperfection on top. So you really get to get some ideas about what might be going on. Let me go ahead and look up. Let's go back here. We'll see what else is on Amazon Warehouse. Not much. And see, this is the same thing as the blue one, or the same brand, but the blue one. So there we go. So someone has one for $98, which is not as good as the original. And sometimes they'll give you the option to find the full price one, but let's go ahead and we'll go to regular Amazon and do Milk Maker. And so you're not saving that much with the Try Best. Yeah, and there's that coupon. And so if you guys don't know how to use the coupon, and there's a link to the Arcmira in the descriptions below. So if you're seeing something like you're like a coupon, you have to click this here on Amazon. And now it wants me to sign in. So we're going to stop that nonsense right now. But that gives you a really good idea of how all that works, right? Now, from what I've heard, if you're on your phone or tablet, you may not get that drop-down menu. You need to be on a computer. If you're on the regular Amazon, let's say you're on your phone, and you see the Arcmira, when you click it, it might below say something like used. Click on that and see, and that's where those go. Okay, I know I'm missing lots of questions. And Sandra loves her NutriMilk. It's always on the counter on a sliding tray made for appliances that I have 2 of that I have not put under anything yet. I use it at least twice a week, not only for milk, but for much more. I love it as a processor. Sandra, can you tell us a little more about what else you use it for? Because that would be really interesting, because I do feel like for a $500 appliance, it needs to make more. I do think the NutriMilk is going to have the most powerful motor of all the ones that I've seen so far. I haven't compared all of them, but again, if you go to healthyslowcooking.com, I have a post comparing a lot of these so far. More videos are coming. I know I'm not to soy milk yet, but I will get there, I promise. Okay. Oh, good. Nice, Linda, thank you. Linda for the save. I've used almond flour and it does work. And I would think that works in a pinch for sure. I don't know if your own almond flour made from the pulp of making almond milk would work though. But I would think commercially there's something called Renewal Mills, and they will package like oat milk flour, which is not flour to make oat milk, but the leftovers from the oat milk process. So it's clearly labeled. Marilyn says the Soya Joy has raised buttons, soaked beans, dry beans, raw juice, grains, and porridge. So I would look at the Soy Bella and the Soya Joy. I combine Soy Joy and Soy Bella all the time. It's just hard. Which machines make milk without leftover pulp? So some of that's going to depend on what you are using. So like I made pecan milk. There's no leftovers with pecan milk. Usually there's not with cashew milk as either. There's some that have strainers, but you're going to have pulp. I think the NutriMilk you don't, but I don't know how that would work with oats. I would assume it has a filtering system, so I would assume there would still be some pulp. I'll look into that. I believe the Chef Wave just incorporates the pulp. So if you're picky about having silky smooth milk, you may not be so happy. So I don't know if that helps at all, but you can let me know that. Just remember, all this leftover pulp we can make cookies with, we can make flour with, we can do a lot of other things with it, so it's not waste. Linda says, while we've been on, I've made oat milk with the pulp, and I've made oat milk, and with the pulp I'm going to make pancakes. Fun to watch while cooking. I made soy milk once in the almond cow, but then watching the stove. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Like, so if you have soy milk on the stove is not the most fun thing. I've done it in classes when we've made tofu and things like that. And it's so worth it for tofu. But usually what I do, even when I was making soy milk in my soy Bella, is I make the soy milk and then I cook it for 10 minutes on high in the Instant Pot, just so I don't have to deal with it. So that's what I do. And Marilyn says the Soy Joya does 1,500 to 1,700 milliliters, no basket, must strain milk. I think the Soy Joya is kind of comparable to the Meomat in a lot of ways, because the Meomat, the Soy Joya has a little thing that's connected, and this has one you put on or take off. So I think the blending would be similar. We'll see. I have so many milk makers right now. I may end up getting a Soy Joya, but we'll see. But I do recommend it because my students use it so much and they love it. So I haven't tried it. Sandra says, I got the complete NutriMilk for around $4.50 for Black Friday. Still a lot, but I love it and do so much more than just milks and butters. It makes 1 to 2 quarts of milk, no straining, and little pulp. So yeah, Facebook user, that might be something. How do you use pulp to make other things? So just kind of like what Linda was saying. So this isn't true because this is tea. But you know, I could put this in cookies. I've made lavender and tea cookies before. So I could use the little bit of pulp in here and put it in cookies. I could put it in oatmeal. I've made dog cookies with it, especially if I'm using a larger machine and maybe there's a cup or two of pulp. If you're using a small machine, you could put it in either ice cube trays and freeze it in the freezer until you have enough to use it for something. You can use it in pancakes, waffles, cookies, scones, muffins, hot porridges. You can dry it, so like dehydrate it and grind it in like a spice grinder or a grain mill. You probably don't even need to use a grain mill, probably your Vitamix or a spice grinder. And then you could use it for flour. So like if I made a bunch of oat milk, dehydrate the oat milk pulp, grind it, and then use it as a flour later on. Same thing with almond pulp. So if you have a lot of almond pulp, dehydrate it, grind it, and free almond flour. So I like to think of the pulp as like this bonus stuff that comes along with it. So it's like when I go to the store and I get mushrooms and I take the stems off and I dehydrate the stems and make mushroom powder. Mushroom powder is expensive. That was free as far as I'm concerned. It wasn't exactly free, but you know, we pacify ourselves the way we do. But a lot of times, you know, a mushroom stem, if I chopped it up, that's something Cheryl would pick out. So it works for me. Emily says, bought the Soy Bella SB30 right before the SB132 came out. I don't know. I have the 130. It looks like, okay, let me go back here for a second. Well, I'll see if I can find out anything, but I don't think so. I think the difference between the 130, do you have the one that has like raw, cooked, and on-off buttons? Because when I was looking, it looked like it might just be the tofu maker, like, well, it's not tofu maker, the tofu mold. It had a tofu mold with it. And Mike says, love the ice cube idea. Yeah, and same thing. Did you guys know you can freeze your leftover milk in ice cube trays? So let's say I got a NutriMilk, or I made a big batch of almond milk in the almond cow, and then we decided we were going to go away. I can put all that in ice cube trays, put it in a Ziploc, and then I can either use it in drinks or just thaw it and ta-da, have almond milk or pecan milk or soy milk. It's kind of awesome. Emily says they're showing you the new model pictures. See, I showed you my old one. This is what my old one looks like. I'll show you. So see, it just milk, mill, and paste. And that's mine that's like a bazillion years old. It's probably at least 11 years old, so it's definitely the old one. And Susan, I think it was just too big and clunky for me alone. I did like the frozen grape snow cones and hummus with it. That sounds kind of delicious. And some of these have like smoothie capabilities and things like that. It just depends on, do you have a high-speed blender already? How much do you want to use different things? Like I have a heated blender when those were cool a few years ago, but you can make soups in the Miomat, the Soy Bella, really anyone that has heat you can make soups with, or congee or porridges, which is kind of cool. Oh, and Linda says Bob's red mill almond flour is just almonds, so it should work well. That sounds great. Hey Diane, it's awesome to see you here. It is cozy morning hot drink day, and I'm going to keep doing this as long as I think of new hot drinks to show you, because I know I've been putting up kind of videos about the different milk makers, but I haven't been doing a lot of lives. I'm also going to start doing some comparison shorts, so I'll compare like maybe the almond cow and the Miomat and just give you some talk about that too. But it's always nice to, when you guys ask me questions, and then I know what to look for and add into things. Mike says, was surprised how much better I felt when using my Nutter in my morning coffee. It's, you know, there's just nothing else in it. You guys saw everything I put in there. And so if I'm using Oatly or some other milks, there could be some things in there that maybe you're avoiding. But if you just, this is oats and cashews is what's in my milk. I did put some vanilla, and I did put some maple syrup in here. You could have used dates. You could have left it unsweetened if you wanted to. But you could use a granulated, if you're using the warm cycle, you could use granulated sugar as well, coconut sugar. It's all up to you, all up to your taste. And Sandra says with her NutriMilk again, that they're empty nesters, but she makes a batch and freezes a lot. See, that's great. I think that's awesome. So basically, I'm going to have to warm up Cheryl's London Fog Latte because we have chatted for so long. I think it's hilarious. I am going to be on on Instagram at 6 p.m. on somebody else's channel if you want to come hang out. And then I think almost every day I'm doing a whole bunch of lives for the vegan bundle. So don't forget to get the vegan bundle if you're going to get it. Get it now. There's a link down there too. There's links for the Nutter, the Miomat, the Arcmira. I think I keep trying to add more links, but there's no one milk maker that's right for everyone. But there is the one milk maker, or maybe more than one, that's right for you. So if you have some questions, put them down below. I'll do my best. Like I said, right now I think I have 8 different ones. I also have 2 other small ones that I got off of Temu that I'm going to demo. We'll see if I demo them tomorrow or later this week. I'll make another drink. The motors aren't quite as strong, but they're like 50 bucks. So we can look at that and see if it's worth it, if it's not worth it. And even like some of these, you just might have to do things like cut up your dates, soak your dates if you're going to use it, or use date syrup if that's okay within your diet. Anybody have any last minute questions? If not, I'm going to sign off and have my yummy London Fog. It smells so good. And even with fancy smancy tea that you buy it a pound at a time, which may seem like an investment, usually, I mean, with prices changing, I don't know, but usually it's anywhere from $15 to $20 for a pound. That's like what? 4 London Fogs at Starbucks? And then you're making it with whatever sweetener you want, whatever vanilla you want, whatever kind of nut milk you want, and I think it's super, super frothy. Let's see what else we got here. Oat milk is my jam, best machine. You want to have, so if you're using oat milk, you don't want to put heat on it. This is making a single drink is the exception. So if we're going to make a big thing of oat milk to keep in the fridge, we've got to look at the slime factor. So you don't want to put heat in it. So I made some, and actually if you look on YouTube, I made some in the Almond Cow and in the Mio-Mat. I made with the Almond Cow, I made both of these are Oatly copycats. I used cashews and oats, just a little bit of cashews to add that nice mouthfeel. I used Mio-Mat's recipe and did a teaspoon of coconut oil in with the oats. I know a lot of you don't use oil, and don't do that one, do the cashew one. I'm going to be doing one with sunflowers, sunflower seeds, not sunflowers, because sunflower lecithin will also thicken up and do that. So we're going to try that as well. So my question would kind of go back to you, are you looking to make small amounts or big amounts? But the Almond Cow or the Mio-Mat would probably be my 2 choices. With the Almond Cow, you don't have to strain because it strains it for you. It does make it really soupy pulp when you're making oat milk, but you can let that strain, or I'm looking to get something to try and push the extra liquid out of that. You can also just use a spatula and keep pushing on it too. Let's see what else we got. Sandra says, my NutriMilk has 2 containers, one for milk and one for nut butters. Or the butter container is a great food processor for hummus, date paste, batters, anything else you do in a food processor. See, now that makes it make sense to me a lot more. I know they're not sending me the processor one now because they're out of it, but they're going to be following up with it soon. I don't even have my NutriMilk yet. But I like my Breville food processor, which I upgraded from one that I didn't like my Cuisinart one. And it was very expensive, so I could see that working out. Yay, Linda, I'm so glad that helps, and I'm so glad that you joined me. Ashley, it is awesome to have you here, and I'm enjoying a nice London Fog with you. You can rewatch the video in a few minutes. Facebook user wants to make big amounts, then I would say Almond Cow if you don't want to strain, Mio-Mat if you might want to use heat, if you think you might ever want to make soy milk or make things for tofu or use it for soups. They're comparable in prices. The Mio-Mat's a little less expensive. The Almond Cow's a little more expensive, and the Almond Cow has a basket that filters. The Almond Cow, any day now, is going to be back in stock. The Mio-Mat is in stock. So those are some information for you to make your choices. Emmy says that's what her soy Bella looks like. Yeah. So, and I don't know what you said, you got yours right before the other one came out, and I've had mine forever. Oh, that's awesome. Ashley says I have chai ready to drink for the rewatch. So I'm probably going to make chai tomorrow, but I put chai tea. And I know chai just means tea, but I take, here we go, the Rishi chai, masala chai, which has the spices in the tea, and I put it in very similar to what I've done here. We could put dates in there, and we can make almond milk, we can make oat milk, we can make whatever milk you want. So maybe we'll have a chai tomorrow, and I'll show you how to make it in the small one. You guys have an amazing day. Go out, find some fun bundle content. You're going to see lots of things. Since I'm doing this in my jammies, who knows, you might be having coffee with me in the morning for a while, and I will see you guys all later today or tomorrow, okay? Bye.